Imagine if your process to attract, select, and secure the right members for your organization began with knowing some insight about them before you even met them. Imagine if you could know your potential new members better simply because you created a funnel to ask them the right questions. Imagine if you could improve the interactions and conversations with potential members by generating recommendations for them to match with chapter members. Imagine if you could personally invite people to your events, programs, and initiatives with just one click. Imagine if you could personally track every interaction with a student interested in joining our organization. Imagine if we could really, I mean, really systemize our process for students to join fraternities and sororities. Y'all, there's no need to imagine because we got you covered. It's as simple as this. You know, spreadsheets, those little Excel sheets, the little journals, or whatever else that we use. Yeah, those are dead. And if they're not, we need to dead them. Like let's just make that clear. We have tools, platforms, and resources for you to enhance your process of attracting, selecting, and securing the right members and only the right members for your organization. You know, the members in which we desire to initiate, the members in which we desire to lead our chapters in the future, the members in which we could appropriately gift fraternity and sorority too. It's time to make fraternity and sorority accessible and easier, not just for potential new members, like not just for PNMs, but for our current members too. The more you know, the better you can imagine. And we're here today to help you transform some of those things that you imagine or that we all collectively imagine into a reality. Hello, and everyone, and welcome to another edition of Phired Up Fridays. We are so glad you're here. Whether you're at home watching this live or watching the recorded version, welcome. My name is Hailey Mangrum, and I have the pleasure of serving as an organizational growth consultant for Phired Up and Technify. And I'm joined here with my friends, Erin and Farrell. Woo! Welcome them. Imagine the audience clapping. We'll just imagine you're clapping. You can use those clap emojis. I know y'all are clapping at home or wherever you are. It's totally cool. We'll be here today with you in this space to troubleshoot. There are the claps. To troubleshoot, lean on one another, and just engage back into this thing we all know, love, and admire. And that's fraternity, sorority, and technology. I know y'all love technology. That's why you're here. Our sister company, Technify, provides technology solutions like ChapterBuilder, MyVote, and CampusDirector to help keep intake and recruitment processes managed and, more importantly, organized, because we know how like crazy it could get. Today, the three of us will cover some of our favorite features of the technology we offer and would love for you to learn some tips and tricks about the platforms that we have. We welcome your questions and anything you'd like to talk about regarding infusing technology into our selection processes. You can ask a question at any time by tapping the question mark icon at the top. You'll see that. Additionally, we have some of our team members from Phired Up and Technify here. You can engage with them with the chat and use the emojis. In fact, we want you to overuse emojis to engage with us virtually in an effort to like create community and just like be in this space together. Let's just like imagine that this is our space. So yes, emojis were like, I love it. We love to see it. Thank you. If you're watching the recorded version, you won't be able to see the chat feature, but you'll certainly be able to see the questions that pop up on the screen. Hey, this session is all about growth as it relates to technology in terms of the things you'd like to discuss. We're here for you, Human Support Tech Edition. We want to invite you to let up any tips, any ideas, or thoughts you have as we engage in this platform. In fact, you can begin asking a question to the group now if you like, and we'll be sure to get to it when that time comes. Again, welcome. And thank you for joining us for another edition of your favorite Friday series, Phired Up Fridays. Without further ado, I'd like to welcome and invite my friend Matt Farrell to share some just insight from his lens and his experience. Matt, take it away.
Absolutely. Thank you, Hailey. For those who don't know me, just know that it took every fiber of my being to not play a John Lennon instrumental while Hailey was dishing out those imagine statements. It was ready to go, but I figured it wasn't quite the perfect time. Maybe if we do a few more Fired Up Fridays, I'll get there. But either way, what I'm most excited to share with everybody is this key feature in ChapterBuilder that you see right on the screen in front of you. If this looks new and you haven't seen ChapterBuilder before, this is a completely free tool that is going to give us such a major advantage during this time, because it is a varsity version of a spreadsheet. As Hailey alluded to before, we are not seeing spreadsheets anymore in most industries. Wherever you all are applying for jobs or looking for those internships, or just looking to advance yourself, you're not going to see growth on spreadsheets anymore. And we are so excited to have this tool for the industry, because I'm going to be honest with you all, the most underutilized important feature for right now is legitimately free for everybody. It is this phrase, cultivate connection. You all have been hearing it. We talked about it earlier. It's going to continue to be the phrase that defines fraternity and sorority, for better or for worse. If we are able to cultivate connection in these next few months when people need it the most, we are going to win. And these forms that you see right here are the easiest way for us not to just cultivate connection, but to measure it. Y'all, if you are in your ChapterBuilder, you're going to go to the top right, this Rubik's Cube here. And as you can see, that leads generator button in the top right, this is how you get to forms. You have probably heard the phrase, you can't recruit who you don't know. And so this is where it all starts. What every chapter needs to be doing, and I want to focus on chapters right now before we move into council, although it's the same concept. We need to figure out who is out there that can benefit from the gift of human connection. Who is available to us? Who are some strangers we can just get to know? Because y'all, we all got the time right now. We have the time. Our audience has the time. And so, as you can see here, this is an example of some various ways that we can measure and create human connection during this time. What I love about these examples is, as you can see, there is a wide variety of ways to do it. My biggest pet peeve when I look at ChapterBuilder from the admin side, when we look at our access, when we see the 1 million+ PNM profiles, the 70+ headquarters, the 10,000 chapters across the country that use ChapterBuilder, I'll tell you, my biggest pet peeve is when you see no forms in here at all, or you just see one interest form. Because that tells me we have no idea where our connections are coming from and what's working. And so to have these different types of forms here, if we go to the next slide, we're going to be able to get an idea of what's working. And we'll be able to see an easy graph that tracks where these referrals are coming from. This is in the insights at the top of your page. I mean, as you can see here right now, we are tracking over a 30-day window, but we can also track over the course of a week, over the course of 3 months, and over the course of a year. And so as a recruiter, this is an amazing free tool that is going to help us get names on our list. And more importantly right now, figure out where they're coming from. To be real right now, we don't know the best way to guaranteed get names. It could be Instagram. It could be Twitter. It could be trivia. We don't know what it is for you, for your chapter, for your council. But what we do know is the only way to be sure is to try some different stuff out. And you can see here with this chapter, we are able to really quickly see which members are getting us the most names, which organizations that we're reaching out to are bringing us the most success, and what's working. Friends, let's not overthink it right now. Whether you're a chapter, a council, an individual, we can't do anything until we figure out who is out there and how do we contact them. Our first priority with any technology we're using right now needs to be getting some names, getting some numbers, handles, whatever it may be. And that allows us to opt in and play this game that we call recruitment and growth. So again, ChapterBuilder.com, top right of your screen, you're going to see that Rubik's Cube, leads generator. We should start making some forms and letting it rip to see where our names are going to come from. We got some campus director tips coming, I believe.
Yes. So I have this dream. Let's call it that we have the potential to know more about our potential members before we interact with them as chapters for the first time. Imagine what that could look like for you if we asked better questions to learn more about the individuals that we are welcoming into our organizations before we even meet them. I know that the technology we have available to us right now, whether it is CampusDirector, whether it is ChapterBuilder, or whether it is some other type of form you're using for your intake, your recruitment, or just as an interest form, that we have the potential to provide better information to our chapter members up front. When I look at the way that our registration, our intake, and our interest forms look right now, we ask a lot of basic information that makes us kind of feel like we're at a doctor's office. What's your name? What's your date of birth? Tell me your favorite color. What's your t-shirt size? And these questions that we're asking aren't actually telling us anything about the members that we're trying to recruit. So one thing that we can do to enhance our growth strategy a little bit is to ask better questions on that first impression that they have of us. I'm going to show you how this can be done in CampusDirector, but know that this is something that you can do both in ChapterBuilder or on any other kind of intake or interest or whatever it is that you're using to collect potential members' names and information leading into a recruitment or intake process. So if you're inside CampusDirector, which is typically used for our councils, and what you can do is on your home page, just select your setup button. This is going to take you into a drop-down of menu where you can select PNM extra fields, which is going to help with your registration. And when you get to your PNM extra fields page, you're going to scroll all the way down to the bottom into an area that's called add new fields. And it's simple as that. You just create a new field and ask better questions so that that information gets handed off to our chapter members so that they know who they're recruiting. Especially right now when we're looking at options of virtual recruitment, we are needing more information to know how do we pair conversations with each other? How do I set this person up for a great conversation? How do I know their needs or what they're looking for or who they even are unless we're enhancing what is currently on our registration? Here are some of the questions that I thought of when we were thinking of quality questions. Things that you could add on right now that can enhance what you're doing. So asking what they hope to get out of the membership experience. What do you want from fraternity and sorority? Or even what are you looking to receive from the university experience? Understanding what they're seeking so that we know how to guide that conversation or connect what we offer to what they're looking for. We can ask them about things like their top priorities in their life. This is a really good way to ask about things like your passions, knowing what really wakes somebody up in the morning and what makes them who they are. What are the things that they prioritize? And sometimes people don't like using the word passions, that's a little too intense. So the top priorities is a great way of just saying, what is it that matters the most to you? Is it your family and friends? Is it maybe a sport that you play? But what is it that is making an importance in your life? Asking about our goals is asking about some aspirations. So knowing who they are now with their priorities and also knowing where they want to go. What goals should they have for themselves? This can help us align them with the best chapter member whose goals might be similar to theirs so that we can align them for a better conversation. One of my favorites is to simply describe personality. And yes, this seems like that question of like, tell me about yourself. But knowing how somebody shows up and how they describe themselves tells us so much about how they see themselves. If you are a campus or an institution who uses something like a Myers-Briggs test or a strengths finder, this is also a good substitute here. Knowing how somebody shows up on the extroversion introversion scale to know what styles of conversation are going to suit them best teaches us a lot about how we can recruit them in the best way. And then finally, just asking them about what they do in their spare time. Again, this is something really simple, but bringing it down to an easy question of, when you're not in classes, when you're not doing what you have to do, what is it that you fill your time with? That could just simply be taking walks outside, and we want to help align you to talk to our chapter member who also loves that. But helping understand who they are a little bit better by knowing them beyond just their past experiences. When I asked this question to college students this past year at multiple different conferences, the number one thing that they said about the registration form is that it focused too much on who they were in high school and not who they want to be in college. And we have the opportunity to just use our questions on whatever technology we're using to make that a better experience for them. All right, I'm going to kick it back over to Hailey here, and she's going to show us a little bit more of some features in ChapterBuilder.
So I just want to lift up everything that Erin was just sharing. I think it's so important that we put emphasis on the opportunities we have to get to know our potential members, our students who are interested in joining, or whoever it may be, on the front end as much as possible, because it will influence better conversations. It will influence better interactions. It will influence better opportunities for us to engage in meaningful ways rather than surface level. So, for instance, if your chapter is using ChapterBuilder, one of my favorite things about the platform is that you can like document everything like that. Like, it's as simple as that. I'm like, I couldn't think of anything more profound, but literally you just document everything. And the reason why I have this on the slide, knowledge is power, is because the more we know, the better we can engage. The more we know, it's like when you know better, you do better. And so when we know more about people, we have a better relationship. We have a better sense. We have a better inkling to if they're going to accept a bid, or if they're going to actually apply to join our organization or not, or if they're going to go somewhere else. And so knowledge is power. And yes, it is knowledge in technology. So here's an example of my favorite potential new member, Beyonce knows. And in this platform, in whatever chapter she's trying to join, here's an example of what a profile could look like for a PNM in our ChapterBuilder. And so you can obviously see that, her name is there and there's like a grade. So it says be mutual interest. So not only is this person interested in joining our organization, but we also have interest in Beyonce joining our organization. And everything that we have learned about this human, every interaction, everything we could possibly think of that's important for our other members to know that maybe we know, can be documented right here. And so a lot of the times we get to decide what PNM information is important to us. And sometimes this looks a little like our applications, right? So, or registration forms, as Erin was alluding to earlier. And so, okay, GPA, expected graduation date. All right, what leadership roles do you have? All right, where are you from? All right, what are you involved in? And then that's it. We can ask questions that can give us insight into their life, into their lived experiences, because 9 times out of 10, there may be another member that we can connect them with that has a similar experience, right? Maybe there's an opportunity this person wants to, become an entrepreneur in something, and she's inspired to do this. Well, guess what? We have an older member who's already doing that. Or one of our current members, their parent is already doing that. We connect them. And so it's about cultivating connections, as Matt alluded to earlier. So again, I love this platform simply because in this portion of the platform, because when you know better, you do better. And so what we know, one of the things I learned when I was online, when I was pledging my organization, is that when I know something, it means nothing if the rest of my, if the rest of my line sisters or everybody else doesn't know it. And so if I know something, I need to share that. And this is an easy way for us to do that and continue to cultivate connections and lift up people's experiences and lift up people's, I don't know, like the differences, the diversity, personalities, all of that can be documented right here within ChapterBuilder.
Cool. So it looks like our first question, do ChapterBuilder and CampusDirector talk to each other? And the good news there, you know, I would say they speak the same language because they both communicate directly with Excel spreadsheets. So I know we were bashing spreadsheets a little bit earlier, but basically that's the easy middle ground for Kenna's question. We are able to basically upload anything into ChapterBuilder from a spreadsheet, and we can export that data from CampusDirector. So probably the most common instance that we run into where data would need to be moved from CampusDirector into ChapterBuilder would be right before recruitment, once everyone is registered. If certain chapters are looking to text the entire names list, or at least to be able to make notes, as Hailey was talking about, and be able to store their knowledge of the interactions they're having, they can just simply export that data from the master list in CampusDirector and then import it right into the bulk uploader on ChapterBuilder, which is really easy. If you're on it right now, it's just new at the top of your screen, and then bulk uploader. The other time that that's really common is at the end of recruitment. And I would encourage anybody here who's representing a council that uses CampusDirector to make sure that after recruitment, we are taking all the names of potential new members who have not joined and providing those to chapters so they can upload onto their names list and continue 365 recruitment. I can keep rolling here, and then if either of you want to jump in, our second question is, how much time does it take a member to learn to use ChapterBuilder competently? Oh, I love that last word, because I honestly, even as someone who works with ChapterBuilder every day, I'm learning new features, new ways to engage. I think the most practical way that I can answer Laura's question is that it is critical for us to give everyone in a chapter an opportunity to learn the basics, and that's something that we can do for you. So every week at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, we do a live ChapterBuilder demo. I hope you're not sick of talking to me here, because you'll probably get me again. But we can use that time to educate anybody completely free in a screen share like this to run through the basics. We feel like, within that 20-25 minutes, everybody walks away not only with the knowledge, but with some of those action items. We always make sure that we're helping them add those names, add members, make sure that access is there. And we also have a couple of 5-minute videos on our website. So if you don't want to wait and you just want to learn the basics and get up and running right away, you can do so. Summary of the question: 5-10 minutes, you're going to have the basics to be able to get rolling. But really, the ability to continue to learn these features is something that still keeps all three of us motivated in digging into ChapterBuilder.
One of the questions, thank you, Matt, for that. One of the questions that I get a lot, or that we hear a lot from campuses or council communities, is that, is ChapterBuilder like a resource or a tool that fraternities and sororities that may be culturally based can use? And the answer is yes, absolutely yes. And so we have a version where the different grades, like A, B, C, D, have different terminology, and the language is applicable and very much so makes sense. I'm like, I don't have any profound words today, y'all, but it makes sense for them to use. And so, for instance, some groups have used it to just keep track of their interest pool. So I remember when I was in undergrad, I was actually just working with the chapter when we were at NGLA a few months ago, and they were like, well, we have this spreadsheet, and then we scroll all the way over, and I'm like, what? Wait, what? Who has time to go to row 3, column GG, you know what I'm saying, to see this information about this human, when you can use ChapterBuilder, you can document everything about them in this resource. And the only people who see it are the chapter members, right? So it's not like this person has access to see their profile or anything like that. So what I've seen it do for some organizations that are culturally based is that it enhances their opportunity to get to know the people who are interested in their organizations, rather than the basics of, okay, they know when we were founded, okay, they know our mission statement, okay, they come to every program. But what else beyond the basics do we know about them, and can they learn about us as humans and as individuals, not necessarily our organization? And so, yes, it is 100% applicable to culturally based fraternities and sororities. And like Matt was sharing earlier, we offer demos, and you can set up a meeting or anything like that to learn more about the features and how you can use it today.
So our next question, Vicki. Your slide showed Instagram challenge forms for March and April. Can you share more about how that works and how that might be used? basically now what a lot of chapters experimenting with is Instagram, of course, easy example. Not only because it's a popular platform, but also that link in the bio is a great way to copy and paste chapter builder forms. And so what this chapter is doing, and the chapters who are acting right now and who have an advantage because they're cultivating connection, what they're doing is putting that link in their bio and then coming up with creative ways where they can engage new audiences. As everyone's aware, a lot of Instagram audiences by default are people who are already fans of the chapter, but certain chapters are able to use that platform to go out and engage others on Instagram that may not know they exist. I know right now we're offering some digital classrooms. That's a phenomenal way for us to really dig in and talk more about the how to Vicky's question, right? That's a complex answer that really depends on what chapters are doing to be engaging, to be creative, to potentially use Instagram ads. But the what of Vicky's question is as simple as taking that chapter builder form, copying it and pasting it into the link in the bio or the story, and then cultivating connection to drive people to click that link and fill in information. And the reason that they had a different one for March and April is so they can track which of their activities and events is more successful. So then when they do a May one, they're learning from the past.
Thanks for that, Matt. I see a lovely question about advanced matching, which is my jam and jelly. So the question is how do I get the advanced matching stuff for my sorority chapter? If you are currently a MyVote user, that is as simple as contacting me, your account manager, and I'm happy to set you up with that. If you are new to MyVote, that is going to be on our order form. You would just, when you go to purchase MyVote, you would just select the option to include advanced matching on your chapter account. Now, if you are an organization that has a national partnership with using MyVote, so all your chapters are on, that means that it is going to be on already for you. So that's as easy as talking to your national headquarters and asking if they can have that feature turned on, or by contacting us personally, and we can throw my email over into the sidebar here. It's just Erin at phiredup.com or Erin at technify.com. I'm happy to show you a demo, walk you through. You can ask me questions about how advanced matching would work for your individual chapter or organization, and I'd be happy to show that to you.
And our last question, that name looks familiar. What if my chapter has a chapter builder account, but I don't know the login? How do I go about getting access? That's actually a really common question that we get. The reason that we want to protect chapter's account is because we don't want just anybody to go in and try to demand access for your chapter and start recruiting for you. I guess probably not. So basically, in those situations, you will get a notification that you need admin approval, and then you can give us a call, and we will let you in, or you can email support@technify.com, and Matt will post that in the chat so you have the email available. If your chapter has not created an account in the past, you will actually be able to be the first person to do it and set yourself up from the beginning. So I would encourage everyone right now, even while you're still on here, to go on to ChapterBuilder and see if your account has already been created. If it has, we will get you logged in so it's secure. And if it has not, you can create it right now.
So we want to thank you all. Oh, it went so fast. Thank you all for joining us today. If you could do us a favor and connect with us now, or if you're watching the recorded version, pause it and do it now still. And then we love to have follow-up and conversations and engage with you through our social media platforms. Our emails are all listed in the chat right now, and then they are coming for you right here. And so those are our social media tags, those are our emails, those are our phone numbers. It goes directly to us. You can send us a text or a quick call, or you can shoot us a quick email. And we love to engage with you about how you can manage and organize your process for recruitment, intake, or selection much easier and better. So thank you all. Erin or Matt, do you have anything else to add? Any final words?
Nothing else from me. Thank you so much for your guys' time. And again, if you didn't get a question in today, feel free to contact one of us and we'd be happy to help support you.
Happy Fired Up Friday, everybody. This was fun.
Yeah. Thank you again, as always. We appreciate you. We exist to help transform the way people join our organizations. And so we are excited for what's to come after this. And thank you for tuning in to another Fired Up Friday.